Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Katie, the introverted reader, well the unwell reader I should say. I'm so sorry, just in advance, like if I cough or if I sound really raspy. I had a cold all week, I swear to goodness. Oh, why don't I wear a mask on planes? Anyway, so I took some time off, obviously. I was away on a trip and whole drama getting home, but I'm here now to wrap up the month of September finally, because we're into October now, thank God. But anyway, excuse me. We're gonna take a drink of water because that's important. Anyway, whew. Wow. Okay, so obviously September was the Introverted Reader Readathon. So, and I did quite a bit. We did quite a bit of damage, but I've just got my notebook here that I can keep myself right when it comes to the prompts. Because you'd think, I mean, it's your readathon, you should remember the prompts, but clearly I'm old, I forget. So, whew, I'm not going in order of the prompts. I have all the books piled up on my knee here, so I'm just gonna go one by one. So on top, I've got my Kindle, and on my Kindle, I read At First Smile by Melissa Whitney. I have a full video about, beg your pardon. I have a whole video about this book where I talk about it and review it and such, and this was for the readathon to read a book with a disability rep, and it's a romance where our main character is blind, legally blind. So anyway, go watch my video about this book if you want to know a bit more about it. It's just a girl who is blind and she meets a guy in an airport and they hit it off, and it's very, very cute. But yeah, go watch my video if you want a bit more on that. Actually, you know what, I'll put my Kindle here because I worry about crushing it. Anyway, so next I have Nightblood Prince by Molly X. Chang. This was to read a book written by an author of color, and I also made this the Introverted Reader Book Club pick for the month of September. I tabbed and annotated the F out of this book. Again, because it was a book club pick, I have a full review for this on my channel. So if you want to go and watch that and listen to me gush about how much I loved this book, then feel free. But basic synopsis is it's about our girlie here, and she is destined to marry this guy because she was born at a very auspicious time of the year, and there's this whole prophecy about her and him, and when they get together and them being married and being together and everything like that. And then this guy comes in, and this guy's a vampire, and he's got a whole other army of vampires, and it's just, like, go watch my review if you want to know a bit more. But like, in short, I love this. 5 stars. I gave At First Smile 5 stars too, but I'm sure that was obvious. And then I read Destroy Me within this little Shatter Me novella collection. I only read the first novella, Warner's novella, and Adam's novella is in here too. I read Warner's and that was it. And that was it. I didn't want to read Adam's, because if you've read this series, I hate Adam. And if you've read this series, then I assume you understand why. But anyway, I read Warner's novella. It was fine. Nothing to ring home about. Not much happened. Just him walking about brooding for a bit. But in the end, I gave it 3 stars. It was fun. It was fine. But I'm glad that I read it. Because, you know, I love the Shatter Me series, like obviously the main series, but I hadn't read the novellas, so I'm glad that I read it. So yeah, the Shatter Me novella was for the prompt to read a book that you've left unread for way too long. This next one, not for the readathon, but it's my Shadowhunter novella. The one that I read was, what was the one that I read? See, this is why The Lost World was the one that I read, and I remember loving it. I can't fully remember the details, but I do remember loving it. And yes, I love the Shadowhunter world. It's amazing. I think I only have one more left in here. I think yeah, I'm down to the last one. So after this month, when we wrap up October, that'll be the last time you'll be seeing this. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy. But anyway, I'm so happy that I finally got around to reading those novellas. But anyway, that wasn't for the readathon. And the next one, Silver Cloak by L.K. Stephen. Now, this was technically for the prompt to read a book that a family or friend picked out for you. Excuse me. I beg your pardon. Anyway, this was for the prompt to read a book that was picked by a friend or a family member. I didn't get around to actually asking somebody to pick something for me. I just was like, you know what? I'm my own best friend. I'll pick this for myself. And I did myself dirty because I DNF'd this. I DNF'd this, lads. I'm sorry. It did not hook me in the slightest. I'm sorry. Because it's supposed to be about our girl that was a part of this organization called the Silver Cloaks. But then it's found that she lied in her paperwork and they kick her out. But then her commanding officer sort of pulls her aside and is like, listen, I need you to go on an undercover mission for me to the Blood Cloaks. So there's the Silver Cloaks and the Blood Cloaks, okay? Now, the Blood Cloaks, we don't like them. They're bad. And her commanding officer is like, I want you to infiltrate their ranks, get to know them, get them to trust you, and then we can destroy them from the inside, so forth and stuff. Which, that sounds great. I read the synopsis for this, and I was just like, that sounds like everything that I would enjoy. Yes, yes, yes. Magic, intrigue, mystery was what I was told was in here, but it wasn't. Honestly, the magic system confused the hell out of me. There was the intrigue was not there, the mystery wasn't there, because I was just like, I wanted to be kept on my toes the entire time. I wanted to constantly have her be like, am I gonna get caught? Am I gonna get caught? And it was just like, she was so stupid. I'm sorry. I didn't like this main character. I'm sorry. I just didn't like it. Nothing about it was hooking me. Nothing about it was intriguing. And I gave it a fair shot. I got over halfway through. And yeah, I'm mad at myself. I'm not best friends with me anymore. Okay. So, book unread too long. The only I feel like the only prompt I never completed for the readathon was to read a middle grade, because I'm looking at my list and I'm like, I don't have a middle grade here. But anyway, then I read Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. So this wasn't for the readathon. I was reading this anyway. I carried it over from August. And this is set within this kingdom where this young man was chosen at a young age as a child. He was picked up from an orphanage and brought to the palace and basically told that he was going to be sword catcher for the prince, which essentially just means he's going to be his body double, his protection. If they're going somewhere where they believe there may be a threat to the prince's life, he would be the one to go out and be out in the open where the prince would hide, and they would get him in some other way. And yeah, that is the basis of this. Obviously, there is definitely a lot more to this big kahuna of a book, but obviously I don't want to keep you here sat for too long. So I'm just giving basic synopses here, people. But listen, Cassandra Clare, I love Cassandra Clare. I do. She's been a part of my life for a very long time. And when this came out, I was thoroughly excited. So I've read this twice now. And I feel like the second time I picked up things that I never actually picked up before. And I was like, oh, okay. And I'm very, very excited to get into Ragpigger King. I have the audiobook all ready to go. So once I'm done with A Beautiful Evil, I will get into the sequel for this. But all in all, love this. 4 stars. 4 stars. And then, um, one of the prompts for the readathon was to read a comic book or a graphic novel or a manga or something. And at first I was like, I'm not going to be able to complete that. I don't really have anything. And then my dumbass realized I have the Avatar comics that I have not reread in so long. And I was just like, do you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Like, am I gonna do a rewatch of the show? Maybe. Because that's just what I do. I don't watch anything new. I end up just going back and rewatching shit. But I have these beautiful hardback cover copies of the Avatar comics. And I was like, I love this world. Why would I not? Why would I not? So I did. And it was wonderful, you know. First time around, it was great. And then the second time around, I was like, wow, I never actually realized how, like, dark this gets sometimes. You know, like, because, you know, obviously it is child friendly. You know, because I used to own paperback copies of these before I got the hardcover. And I actually gave them to a friend of mine who has young kids. Well, they're not that young. They're like 10, 11. But still, you know, like rereading this, I was like, wow. The thing that Zuko asks Aang to do. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to get into details, but I read this. It was great. And I might carry on and read the other comics set within the Avatar world that I have. And I might rewatch the show. I don't know. Watch this space. Anyway, so the Avatar comics, that is a 5-star from me. And then the last book that I read in the month of September that I'm so happy with myself that I finished was Songbird and the Heart of Stone by Carissa Broadbent. This is technically book 3 within her Crowns of Nixia series. It's like the start of the other little duology. It's like, okay, so it's going to be 6 books. But she split, but instead of like a continuous series following the same characters, like there's a whole cast of characters, but it's like, it's going to be 3 separate little duologies following different characters within that world. So it all sort of ties together in some way. It's just we followed some characters in the first 2. And then this one follows a side character from that duology. She's the main character in this one. So, yep, there's that. Now, listen, the first time I read this, I didn't like it as much as the first 2 in the duology series. But upon a reread, I was like, wow, this is actually really, really good. So I've bumped up my rating from a 3 to a 4 concerning this, because I was like, why did I give this 3 stars beforehand? This is actually really, really good. What was my problem? But I think my problem the first time was that there's a lot of traveling in this book, because they're on a journey to get somewhere. I don't want to give it away, but a lot of that felt very boring. And I'll say this, it is a bit slow in the middle. I'll give it that. But I definitely enjoyed it a lot more on a reread than reading it the first time. And I'm very excited to get into the sequel for this. But I'm waiting on the paperback for the sequel to come out, because I can only see it in hardcover. And I'm like, I want the paperback. But if I cave and end up buying the hardcover, well, that's not my fault, is it? That's just not my fault. Anyway, that is it for my September wrap up. I'm so happy with all the reading that I did. And yeah, it was great. I hope you guys had a good reading month. I'm excited to get into October. I need to catch up, like, for the first week there, because I was unwell, obviously. Like, my strength to want to read wasn't there. Like, I felt very slumpy, so obviously I wasn't well. Like, I was, you know, could hardly breathe through my nose for 3 days. But you know what? I'm better now. Well, I'm getting there. I'm better now. I'm in a better reading mood. The fog has lifted, hallelujah. So I'm looking forward to getting more reading done in October. I'm very excited. Anyway, I hope you all are doing well. I would pick the books up like I usually do, but one step at a time, baby cakes, one step at a time. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all okay. My socials down below as always. Blue Sky, Instagram and Threads, and TikTok. They're all there. You want to follow me on there, you can. You don't have to. No pressure. You can also subscribe to this channel if you want, if you're liking what you're seeing. And yeah, I'm gonna go now because I'm hungry. So I'll see you later. Bye.